Chick, chick, chick.
I know what this is.
What is it?
I know. This is the theme song to Droids.
This is the theme song to Droids, the Star Wars cartoon show. And you, listener, are listening to a very special episode of the Wicked Theory podcast where I played this as the intro to break the tension that is already rising here in this room because we are finally getting to our special conversation, very special.
I was already making out with girls when Droids was on, so I'm kind of.
How old were you when that came out?
12.
You
I made out with a girl when I was 9.
You were probably divorced twice already when this.
I made out with a girl when I was 9. It's true.
I believe it. I mean, guys are probably related or something.
It didn't stop me from seeing Return of the Jedi, but I went.
So anyway, that's great. As I was saying, I'm trying to set this up.
I'm here. I'm not fired. I changed your fucking
well, here's the
calendar.
thing, Jay. Here's the thing, Jay. We can't just jump in like that. This is a special episode. We might have new listeners, so we have to set it up differently.
Okay.
All right. Stop shaking. So here's the thing, folks. This is our special episode. This is all spoilers. We're not going to bother with a non-spoiler thing because that would just slow things down here. Right. So hopefully by this point, this is coming out in the middle of the week. You, dear listener, have already seen it. And if you know our show, you're probably wondering just how this is going to go down. This is going to go down. But joining me today, I'm Bill Sweeney, by the way, and we're from the Wicked Theory podcast. And the crew here today, I got my brother Bob as usual. No guitar, but that's fine.
No, that's cool.
We got Ed O'Hare. It's not bad. That's like a Yoda. That's like a Wookiee yawn. Or he had his larynx removed. I'm not sure. And Uncle Jay.
Go fuck yourself, Ed.
It's just
see that?
It's just laryngitis with it.
Okay, fair enough.
I would just like to say to my mother, my will is in the top drawer of my dresser.
Okay.
Not the one with the TV on it, the other one.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like you're ready to stand tall with that opinion of yours, Ed.
Easy.
Which is why I admire that. I do in an opponent. It's just I do.
It's not a fight.
You know me. You know me. I admire that in someone.
You say that, Bob.
It's not a fight.
But the funny thing is that, like, for me, I had a brilliant idea earlier today. I was like, damn, I should reframe this whole thing and just make it the great Last Jedi debate.
Well, this is what I think.
And just put you two against each other. But I didn't want Ed to come in unknowing that was going to be the thing.
Yeah, I have great respect for Uncle Jay.
Right.
I would like everyone to know that.
Right. Fair enough. So
I have great respect for Ed too, which fuels my fire even more. Actually,
so if you haven't caught on just yet, dear listener,
can I take this? Because you said something you see, the thing. Here's the thing.
Oh boy.
You say everybody's heard your show on Saturday by now.
Three people. The three people that were there.
Well, you don't know that.
The three people that listen to it live to hear us talk about it in greater detail in the after show were the only people.
All right, because you didn't speak about Star Wars on the show.
We left it. Yeah.
But Ed dropped his little spoiler that he trashed this movie.
Now, normally on the Wicked Theory podcast, what we do is a rating of trash, stash, or cash.
The moment I heard that,
yes,
Ed was a dead man.
Oh shit!
You know what I mean?
Oh shit!
So it doesn't matter what his reasons are. That's the whole thing.
Right.
Because I'm sure I have a defense for it.
Right.
And even if there is no defense, it's still
it's potent.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on.
As a fanboy, you're gonna defend your fandom and Star Wars.
I am a fan of Star Wars. I'm not a fanboy. That's the difference. You know what I mean? Because there's fanboys that are pissing and moaning, and I'm not. I'm actually looking at it from a couple of different perspectives. As a fan of film, as a fan of Rian Johnson, as a fan of Star Wars.
So as a fan, so you're gonna defend that fandom with Ed. That's
and
what I'm getting at.
I will say, I am in a very precarious position right now.
But we're getting way ahead of things right
Well,
here.
I mean, I was just trying to set it up a little bit, and I think we have. That just, obviously, Ed has some issues with the movie.
Obviously.
Actually, to the point where, like, he's going to give it a pass, trash. Jay loves Star Wars like he may love nothing else.
That's not true.
Well, I would say that, like, it seems that way. Like, from me, from us talking to you, getting to know you, it's like Star Wars and, like, horror movies in general,
Well, the thing is this. I've always considered myself, I'm going to say a self-proclaimed film enthusiast. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
And the fact is that, I'm not as geeky as these Star Wars nerds.
No.
You know what I mean?
Not.
I don't. There's a level because I think I know a lot more about Scorsese.
Yeah, I would say,
and shit like that.
Say this. I would say that you were definitely a film fan first,
right?
Unlike a lot of nerds or hardcore Star Wars, guys who are just kind of like, I love stuff. You know what I mean?
But everyone has their lanes. For example, my main lanes are DC Comics and Star Trek. Those are I go with a lot of other things.
Yeah, sure.
But those are the lanes I know best. Jay, I would say you're probably Scorsese and Star Wars.
And breathing into a microphone.
It's probably if of all things geek, that's my favorite.
All right, that feels right. You know
what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're talking to a guy that was a big Marvel Comics guy growing up. You know what I mean? But that was kind of like my go-to.
Right. Fair enough.
So where are we starting, Bill?
Yeah. So how are we going to do this?
I don't know. No,
so,
I do know.
So are we going to break? Are we going to work with the breakdown on the page? Or are we going to let these two guys go at it first?
No. Because I figure they're just going to go. It'll happen as it goes.
Do you guys want to give your general impressions first before? You and Bob want to just give general impressions?
The general impressions
here's
help
the thing.
Mediate what's going on.
Well, here's the thing.
And
I figured that if we just kind of ran with a regular, just like a bullet-pointed chronological breakdown and guide us through, we're all going to kind of hit these topics. Okay. And I think the thing is, even for me and Bob, as much as we liked it, there were things we had some issues with.
Sure.
And I think one of the things that's obviously going now in the big conversation at large is like, and we'll get through this, and this might be a recurring theme.
But they killed Luke Skywalker.
And it's a recurring theme. It's like the things that they did that bother you. How much did it really bother you? That's going to be my angle on it all, because that's where it's coming from. But let's just get into the breakdown, shall we? Let's just kind of like get all up in it. We're kind of we got a list here of the more interesting scenes and the moments. But I'm sure things will come as we go. But the whole thing, I don't have the opening crawl written here, but. I thought the opening crawl was good enough to bring us up to speed in a way that didn't really feel like. Sometimes I'm usually confused by the opening crawl. I'll just say that.
Right.
This felt like, that's like written
pretty straightforward.
In a way that I can. It does put me back into the headspace of where we left off with the last movie, as opposed to about like feeling like I'm reading some legal document, which is usually how those things tend to feel.
Right. Well, it starts space, the final frontier.
Right. Yes. The voiceover comes in.
Right.
Space. The Wars of the Stars, Chapter 8. So it opens up with Hux and Poe. We actually kind of drop down. Could you just wait for the tension?
Huh?
I don't know. It's driving me crazy right now that you're so chomping or already angry. And you don't even know why.
Yeah,
you don't even know why you're angry.
Today.
You just know that you're angry, you sick fuck. So
I think he's playing a game. I think this is all a game.
Hail Mary, full of grace.
You think there might be some acting going on? I don't know. I hope not. All right. So the movie.
Some low budget acting.
Yeah, some independent spirit awards going on tonight. Give us your best Snoke impression.
I can't. I'm too.
Luke, use the Force. No, that's that's one of the Beatles.
My best Snoke impression is just doing Caesar from Planet of the Apes.
Holy Mary, Mother of God, pray for us sinners now and at the
Hey, no politics.
Sorry.
All right, so it opens up. I think is one of the more interesting, the fun scenes. It's actually joke stuff, but like. It opens up. We actually crash real quick onto like planet side. Like, we descend down, we see the spaceship under attack, but we kind of crash planet side where, like, two people randomly walk by and say something that I do not remember at all, where it's like, we have to go get stuff. Yes, please, somebody go get stuff. And then we go deal with Hux.
Yeah, so someone says to someone else, we gotta pack the artillery. It's like there's no time, just leave.
Yes,
like they're packing up because they gotta leave because the First Order got there.
Right. So now we get this scene where Poe, decides that he's just gonna. Well, he's on assignment, but he's just gonna kind of like line up with the big warship and. Stall. He's helping to stall, but you don't know that he's stalling at first because they do this bit where like he's gonna communicate. He opens up the channels of communication. He's like, "Hey, I want to talk to Hux," and so he's like, "It's Hux." And he's like, "Yeah, I'm holding for Hux."
Okay.
And he's like, "It's Hux." He's like, "No, yeah, but I'm holding for Hux."
Okay.
And it turned into a Jerky Boys tape for a minute, and I was like, "Oh, okay."
All right. Might as well start here.
Okay.
Because my main thing that I'm going to say is from the jump.
Right.
Something about this movie just felt off.
Okay.
And what you're talking about is the prime example. My whole thing I'm going to say is especially through the first 2/3 of this movie. It picked up in the third act a lot.
Right.
But for a lot of this movie, it just felt like there was this layer of goofy put over the whole thing that just didn't sit right with me. Like it was just 5%.
Right.
Well, listen. I can see that you might have had an issue with that for this, because this franchise started pre that aspect of action movies, and so now to see that take on some of those aspects of the modern action movie is a little bit. Might seem a little awkward to you.
I'll use this scene as a specific example.
Right.
The whole Hux and Poe interaction,
right?
Which is the whole thing. It's a crank call joke.
Yeah,
and that's fine. It's a do they have call waiting a long time ago in this galaxy far, far away?
Evidently.
Evidently you do communicate with people over things.
Yeah.
Well, I've heard that argument too. It's like, oh, what are they doing?
Well, and
Earth-based jokes? Wait, you made the point. I want to argue it.
This is a callback to the thing that Poe had with Kylo in Debating a Force Awakens.
Right.
So there is a precedent for this.
Yes, and it's a stall technique.
Yeah, but
you find out.
For me, it just felt like it went. Same thing with a lot of improv jokes in movies.
Yeah,
it felt like it went about 2 or 3 beats too far.
For me, it was only when Hux started kind of leaning into it before it ended. Like just before it ended, I was like, all right, how long is this going to become and it stopped. So I was cool with it. Plus it was like, that's when you find out he's stalling. He's literally stalling.
Right.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, okay, that's what he's doing. He's dicking them.
Right.
So for me, at first it was like, oh, okay, whatever. And then immediately you get the explanation or the excuse for it. And it kind of washed it away from me. Right.
Yeah, see, for me, I immediately knew he was stalling. My question was, okay, why is he stalling? And then that's when we see what's actually going on.
Right. Right.
But I had no problem with it. I thought it was fine.
Yeah, fair enough.
Not the funniest, but not the worst.
Yeah.
And I'm not going for comedy, so I was okay with it.
Yeah. And I feel like that's the thing with the comedy, the jokes and some of the stuff. I think for some people, it's comedy, so it's not, for some people that shit lands, and it doesn't. Some jokes land more than others. Right. And I will say that, I saw it with 2 different crowds. And the first crowd I saw it with laughed at everything, and laughed pretty hard. And then the second crowd I saw it with really didn't. And I don't know if that's, indicative of anything. You know what I mean?
Well, no,
but I'm just saying that,
the first time you saw it with the hardcore crowd on a Thursday night.
Right, and then I saw it with the Sunday crowd.
Sunday crowd, which was everybody who waited till everybody else went.
Or is already watching it again, and they know all the jokes.
Right.
Which I kind of took into consideration, too.
So,
what'd you think about that opening stuff?
I think it's fine. I wholeheartedly disagree with you. To say that from the jump, something seems off.
Yeah.
No! There's nothing wrong with... First of all, I knew it was a stall technique, too.
Right. I think he actually says it. In the rewatch, he does. I saw that he does.
They are outmanned.
Yeah.
They are outgunned. They're outshipped.
By thousands to one.
You understand? So when I saw it, I thought it was kind of fun. It's nothing that we have not seen before in other movies.
Yeah.
Laugh it up, fuzzballs, the same kind of corny shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That goes on and on. Han Solo had... goofy liners throughout that whole thing. So to single that out and said that almost sets the goofiness that's off, I think you watched the wrong fucking.
But it's one. It wasn't a one-liner. It's something that carried on too. You didn't get.
It did not carry on too long. No, it did not, Ed.
It went for a 4 or 5 exchange.
It went, but that's fine. You know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying.
It's comedy. 1 or 2.
It's comedy. It's subjective.
That's your opinion.
Yeah.
I think that it doesn't. I think it's fine.
It worked for you.
It
worked for you.
And out of the 4 of us, he's the only one that really has an issue with
And
it.
totally not.
Okay.
Something that sets the goof tone of this fucking movie.
It's the first scene of the movie. It's the first thing that sets the tone for the rest of it.
First of all,
it just felt off to me.
Oh fuck, dude!
I don't know why you get so personally offended.
No, because I think he's completely wrong in this.
That doesn't mean that you should be personally
offended.
offended.
You know what I mean? I think it's just the opener. You know what I mean? It's a technique.
Yeah.
Because it leads into something very big, which is a fucking space battle, where somebody which goes into your second point here. Where it opens up another plot point on the side of a main character's sister dying.
Sure, bring us into it.
You know what I mean? So
this whole Poe exchange thing, to keep it rolling.
It's a fucking minute of screen time, Ed. Jesus fuck.
All right, Jay.
But it's the first minute.
But it's the first minute.
It's a fucking minute, Ed.
And you know what?
If it went on for 2 minutes, I could understand. But it's not 2 fucking minutes. It's a minute.
But that's not all that wrong because he's not the only one who's saying that. It kind of felt like it set a tone for people that they started for people.
He's over the top on the fact that
but he's already
began. I'm not saying
he's not alone. That's what Bill's saying.
Well, and I have the issue with those other people too. Yeah. I think that they're people just looking for shit.
I think it's people.
I think it's a little. I think this is something that's personal to you, Jay.
But it's not anything we haven't seen before.
Sure.
I'm saying.
Right,
sure,
and that's why
right.
that's why we're saying in the first scene, all it did was make people wonder for a split second.
All right, this is gonna be a long night.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So all it did was that's all we're saying is that like it made people wonder for a split second.
I don't agree. I don't agree with you.
Yeah, it didn't work.
I don't agree with you. There's your fucking wall number one.
And that's perfectly fine. That's normal.
Oh, Ed, Jesus Christ!
It's okay that he's got this opinion. He doesn't.
No, I understand. Everybody's entitled to their opinion.
We're finding out why.
But I respect Ed. Which makes it worse.
That's a good point. That's a valid point.
And the fact that you trashed it next to me.
You want me to?
Go ahead. Let's go.
You want Ed?
It was the first little pinprick that went.
Don't.
Oh, that's weird. That's weird, and it's only going to build from there.
Okay.
So
wrong, but okay.
So in the next scene. Well, the next little bit that I have in here is about the bombers. So the bombers start dropping the bombs, and we get this scene of a young girl, Paige.
It's better than all your DC TV fucking shows. You fucking like all that bullshit. I don't know that praise that shit, and you're gonna. Oh,
I don't know that he would argue with you on that though. I don't know that he would necessarily.
But
argue.
he has a whole show devoted jerking off on every goddamn show.
The DC TV report is available on
wow,
iTunes.
We're throwing in the ad hominems here. The ad hocs.
iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play Music, and you can search for it on just about any.
To start off with that,
part of the Wicked Theory Studios.
Yes,
drops live every Sunday.
So, so the bomber. the bomber run, which I thought was was a cool visual and stuff like that. I thought it was an interesting idea. We never seen those. I don't think we ever saw that kind of a thing. Really, kind of.
They start blasting.
That's artfully
at the
done.
planet.
I thought. To show a death like that.
Oh yeah, the special effects in this film were jaw dropping.
Yeah, everything visually on this whole thing is top notch.
The whole attack on a different kind of Star Destroyer, that was something very new. The whole. It wasn't a space battle we've seen before either.
Yeah.
What I mean?
No, it was a kind of close quarters combat. It wasn't this big sprawling thing that was circling the planet.
Yeah, and didn't have... and we came in a little different, too. It wasn't like we had the big ship come over us. Like, you know what I mean? Like, we kind of, like, the camera panned down.
The way it entered, too, out of hyperspace right in your fucking face, too. It was like, boom.
So,
it's like a big fucking bulky ship.
Mm-hmm. And this harkens back a lot to World War II. You know, that's exactly how the bombers and fighter pilots would go.
Mm-hmm. So it does this cool thing where, like, it sold me on the thing, like, with the whole, like, she drops the control, and it goes right past her. Like, I really thought she wasn't going to catch it. Right. That they weren't going to do that. And it actually sold me on it, too, because when she caught it, I was like, Like I'm like these fucks. They got me. They got me already. They got me already. Like they got me twice. I didn't think she was going to get it. And then when she got it, I was like, oh my god, she got it. Instead of being like, oh, of course she was going to get it. Like you know what I mean? Right. I was already fucking overly vested.
But to do it, and then the character just sacrifices herself.
Yeah,
like
and then
it's phenomenal.
And then she dies.
Okay, a nice little nod to Rogue One too.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure.
If you have to
throw it out.
So the ship that they destroyed, is the Dreadnought,
right?
Which was meant to be like this big thing.
Yeah.
What makes the Dreadnought more dangerous than a regular Star Destroyer?
Right. But
like, why was it a big thing for them to take that out?
More shit to destroy stars with.
Well, it's bigger.
It's a bigger threat to them. I think the idea was that
bigger cannons, bigger.
It was that if we're going to try and take out any of them in an isolated way, we go for that thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
To the idea of it being just armored more weapons and all that stuff.
Right. And probably got more ships on there, more TIE fighters,
and also,
fighters, all that.
And I think too, the plan that they decided to use was going to work better on that because of the whole idea of its cannons not being able to ping him because he was so small.
They can wipe out the fleet with that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And that was like their ploy to. If they got rid of this thing, they'd have a chance somehow.
And I think that weakness of it being so small and being able to take out those guns was inherent to the design of that particular ship, too. It wasn't like that would have worked if they had done it to the other big ship. Like, that wouldn't have went down similarly. Like,
right. This one is just so big that this thing is powerful. Tiny in comparison.
Yeah,
and it's not designed to handle something like that.
I was, it felt kind of a shame that they build up this Dreadnought and we don't actually get to see the power of what it could have actually.
Yeah, but there's a lot of stuff.
And there's going to be 37 million more movies.
The fact that they made it the point to get rid of it. Is the reason why we didn't see that, which is fine. You know what I mean?
It's implied.
It moves the thing along.
Yeah, it's all implied.
Plus, if the thing's still around, it's a monstrous. It's a threat that they can't overcome no matter what. How do you make that last for the length of a movie?
Yeah, there's that stuff too.
You know what I mean? So you got to get rid of that early on.
So so Paige dies. And she clutches her little amulet, which comes up later, and it's a really kind of like moving thing. It's like they pulled it off, but in the end, they all regroup and they jump into hyperspace, and we get a scene with Hux and Snoke chewing him out basically.
Right,
and it's the first time we get to see like the Force get used in a way like we haven't seen before.
Yes,
which is like long distance flapjacks is what I'm going to call it, where the hologram of Snoke is strong. Is basically there while Snoke from a distance just tosses him around like a rag doll.
Yeah, right. Yeah, like a fucking rag doll. It looked like, oh, this is what Rian Johnson used to do with his Hux action figure on the bed.
Right.
And I don't really care if this makes sense. I just want to see him do that. I just want to do that.
I want to see the behind the scenes of him at least showing, I want it to be exactly fish out of water kind of
I think it makes perfect sense. The Force, you can use it. If you're strong with it, basically,
no one questioned it.
Well, this is the first instance of long distance use that we see.
Yeah.
In this movie, and it sets a tone for something that happens later.
Yeah, it does. It sets the groundwork for how strong Snoke really is, and that's what I think you get on the second viewing, kind of a thing too. It's like a reminder of just how strong he is, and then later on, us seeing other tweaks with the Force that we hadn't seen before.
This movie opens up a lot about the Force that I personally really got invested in.
See, but here's the thing. This is again what I'm talking about with tone. The way that was done.
Yeah.
The intensity, it didn't make me afraid of Snoke. It just made me think that Hux was a fucking moron.
Yeah.
And it made me laugh at him when I feel like I should have been more afraid of Snoke after that scene.
No, I think that's debatable because I think the thing you're supposed to get out of that... The sad thing is that Hux is like one of those villains that's like feels like he fell into power. Like he never really acquired power by being too ruthless. He seems kind of like just a little bit inept or just a little bit out of his element.
Right.
I think that's a thing they're going for.
And he's playing it over the top because he's he's trying his best.
Yeah.
To kiss up and...
Yeah, I think he's supposed to come off like a little whiny and stuff like that.
Yeah, but he's someone who's trying to fit a role.
Yeah.
But that mirrors a lot of the admirals in the older trilogy, too. He's like a combination of them into this one guy who's trying to get above Kylo in rank.
Yeah. And one thing that I think I know I'm going to discuss over the course of the evening is those kinds of scenes with
undercutting stuff.
Yeah, it made me feel like Hux or Snoke, one of those characters, I don't care which one, but one of them I don't think had to exist.
Right. Well, I'll tell you this much. Hux,
I don't buy that either.
I mean, you need that secondary kind of role in this whole military regime. You know what I mean? But it's a thing where it's like, well, did they give him enough to make him? Did they give Hux enough to make him a real threat? Maybe not, because he's he's very kind of sniveling.
We spoke about
and
this,
conniving. You know what I mean?
We spoke about this briefly last night, and I'll get to it later on. But the fact that what happens to one of them, changes the direction of a character.
Yeah.
For the next episode.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So. Again, I don't agree with that. But go ahead.
Okay,
but that probably falls down to more like I would say Hux, because Hux is more of a throwaway type, where like he's just not given any meat of a major substance like other characters are. Like most, actually, he's probably like the least developed character in the the whole thing if you think about it.
Hux,
generally speaking,
I don't think you need it because
no, you don't. I mean, he's just supposed to kind of play that.
He's like a Hitler. A Hitler in waiting.
Yeah, well, wannabe.
And it just leaves me feeling that by the end of the next movie, he's probably not going to be around.
Oh no.
Well, I think they're going to try. I mean, because at this point, we'll get to it later.
Yeah.
But not to spoil anything, but there are two villains now left.
Yeah.
You know
and I
what
think it's going to be a thing with Hux where he's like he's still schemey. Like he's still going to be schemey.
So there's going to be a rift there. There's going to be he's going to be in charge of.
I was telling Bill, and I know he was talking to you about this last night because I overheard that Hux is going to be. He's basically going to set. He's going to be looking to get. He's looking to step up.
Right.
You know, because basically. Kylo is still a kid in his eyes.
I like the Hux character.
Force or no force, he's still a kid.
For the reasons why we're saying.
Right.
He's a guy that's trying to get there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And trying to kiss ass.
This is the path of life that he's been put on.
Right.
And he's trying to make do with it, and he's trying to follow through with it the way anyone on that path should.
What I do like is that, like, you really can't trust him.
Right.
In regards to how he's, like, you know that you can't trust him as far as you can throw him, and if you were Kylo, you probably would have offed him too.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I think for Kylo, that would have been a good move now. Like, just get him out of the way. He's going to be a problem later on for you, kid. Like, you know?
Right. But he still has pull because he's got the First Order under his hand.
And Kylo's got to have somebody else doing that because, he wants to just go off on his own.
But Kylo's going through some shit.
Yeah,
so,
he's got he's got some emotional issues, I think.
Yeah, especially now that, spoiler for a little later in the movie, Rey turns him down.
Oh, boy, does she.
No,
she's like, I'm not going to the
She
dance.
said no to me, man. She's not going to let her problem with me.
She don't love me. So,
or maybe not. We'll see.
So you get to see Snoke a little bit on the hologram. You get to see some Hux. And then we cut to Leia and Poe, basically where Poe gets to shut down on, his whole behavior because she told him, come back, you're done, come on back. And then he was like, no, we're almost there, we can do this. And it worked, but you disobeyed orders, so I'm not cool with that, you know what I mean? Which is fine, because that's what a superior officer is supposed to do. It's supposed to tell you, you got lucky, motherfucker, that your plan worked. But that's all it was in the end, and you disobeyed orders.
And people did die.
And people did die.
Right. So you have to be reprimanded. And so that was all fair and good, I felt like that was great. It was great to see Leia, God bless Carrie Fisher and all that,
Sounded like she smokes 4 packs a day.
She's had some rough times.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's some dark times in the universe, some dark times.
No disrespect intended.
So, jumping ahead, next kind of scene is when Finn wakes up.
Okay, all right.
And reunites with Poe.
All right.
Poe.
Jay, I'm sorry. There is no way you could defend that scene.
What scene?
So when
Finn wakes up and he's a fucking bubble boy,
and then he gets out
and
why does that bother
water
you?
Hoses spraying out.
First of all,
like
it's not a bubble boy. Number one. Well, first of all, why would that bother you? Because again, you're talking about a minute, not even.
Yeah. No, but again, it's tone. It looks like a goofy fucking set where they couldn't get the pipes to work right.
But I felt like it was so typical Star Wars.
Yes,
it looks because that's the tone balance that Star Wars always tries to do.
It's
like,
corny,
I get it.
Yeah.
It's corny as fuck.
Yeah.
But it felt like this is something kids are going to giggle at.
But it didn't.
We'll roll our eyes, but kids will giggle at that shit.
The set, everything else, it looked like something you'd see on a Star Wars ripoff TV show from the late 70s.
Come on, Ed. Jesus. Now you're turning me and Bob, Ed. And now
I'm sorry on that one. I can't back you up on that
granted,
one.
How is that different than anything you've seen in a fucking Star Wars movie seven times before?
Jay.
No, the thing is that he's bringing these feeble fucking things to
it's those little things that build up to go, something's off here.
I've seen worse in Star Wars. Star Trek, sorry.
Yeah, I mean,
we're talking about two different things here.
We're talking about the fact that you...
Hey, I'll own that. There's a lot of bad Star Trek.
But you don't start a fight. Let's not start a fight.
Right. There's a lot of bad Star Trek out there.
I don't find
it's not about it's just opinions.
It's a goddamn
It's just opinions,
set.
guys.
So, but here's the thing: you were good when it was about the comedy. And then you said, like, oh, the sets looked bad. I didn't think the sets looked off in that scene at all. I mean, it's just a hallway. It's a run. It's a gunship.
No. I'm talking about
just the costuming thing that they did.
I'm talking about the moment he wakes up.
Oh, that
and you see him fall out of the bed and all the pipes.
That's your normal stereotypical
like
space age hospital. It's all white.
Yeah.
Just
moving on. That's not worth it.
It's another thing where the joke went on too long.
That could have been out of that Woody Allen
movie.
movie.
That joke hardly went on.
No, it did not.
That joke
did not.
That joke has less screen time than the fucking I'm holding.
And what I'm saying is that was too much. That joke shouldn't have happened. I don't understand why he couldn't just wake up.
And I wasn't a fan of that moment. Just in that moment, but I was ultimately okay with that moment because it was quick, and it wasn't meant for me. It was meant for other people in the theater. People who would get that.
I only have one problem with one comedic kind of moment that I kind of laughed at in the moment, but I kind of feel is out of place, and I can't wait till we get to that.
Okay.
So Finn wakes up, he reunites with Poe, all right, and then we finally get to go to the island.
And the thing that Finn's whole storyline convinced me of is that this would have been much more effective if his character had died at the end of Force Awakens. Because that whole...
Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. That's why we got to run and dock. That's jumping ahead.
I disagree with that, too. Already.
That's jumping ahead.
I think that's a little harsh, too, but we'll get to that when we get to the end of that part of the storyline.
Right now, we're on the island, okay? And Rey and Luke are having a wonderful time. No, so Rey and Luke pick up right where they left off in the last one. Luke's got the lightsaber. He tosses it over his shoulder. It's a great display of his disregard for the moment. A lot of people feel like that was them being too funny. I don't know. I laughed at it. It worked for me. It's as good to me as him throwing it to the left and to the ground. As long as he tosses it, it's like, who gives a shit? But I thought it was kind of funny.
I liked it.
I laughed it. I liked it.
I was fine with it.
So basically, it comes down to a thing with her that, like, you want some training? Well, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing that. I'm here because I'm on this island because I'm done. I'm done with being a Jedi, and I've had enough.
Which would be a normal reaction for him.
That island's name is Hope, by the way.
Yes, Hope Island. As if you better hope. He teaches you how to fight, but
not much of a callback to the original movie.
Yeah, and once you get the whole layout of Luke's story, like that all works for me. Him being there, I don't mind that. I know some fans, like hardcore fans, are like, "Well, it's kind of like what do you?" And it's like, no. I think for this story, it's fine. And plus, at the end of the last movie, what were you going to have it be? Like, he's just kind of there this week. No, he's been there the whole time. Like, you know what I mean? He's just kind of living out his life. It's that storyline, like you've seen that before in other places where it's like the old, like the guy who was great gave it all up, and we got to go find him. Where is he? Jean-Claude Van Damme. He's old now. He's living in the jungle. We need him back. You know what I mean? We got to get him back in the fray.
It's Dagobah.
Yeah, exactly. It's pulling out the old guy. So I feel like this is all kind of cool and been there, done that. I liked it a lot. We get Chewie kicking in the door of Luke's hut. Which was great. I think. I'm jumping ahead a little bit. Yeah. But we get a scene with some porgs. We finally get to see the porgs. I was happy that the porgs didn't annoy me.
Right.
I thought the porgs had a potential. I think everybody did. There was a worry that it might be too much. I'm sure someone's crying out there that it was already too much.
Oh, it was actually kind of fun.
It was actually kind of fun. It didn't get to the annoying level.
I think the porgs ended up benefiting from the fact that there was a lot of other cutesy things that they wanted to promote in this movie.
Yeah, as far as like there's other kinds of fun, cute like stuff. That's like Star Wars, you kind of branding kind of stuff. If you mean that.
And they weren't afraid to do some funny deep shit with it too.
Well,
you know what I mean?
It's jumping ahead a little bit, but like, Chewie's eating one, and the other one's watching him and crying, and it's
which was great.
And it's simultaneously funny and kind of fucked up.
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah.
if that thing wasn't so cute, I wouldn't give a shit. And you know it all comes down to
it's
that.
got those giant black anime eyes,
and one is cooked,
and they're wet. You can see that they're wet, and it's just like, oh god, he's about to like.
I thought
break
that was
down.
funny.
And all I can think is like, it's like a Cornish game hen. It's really just like it's getting like a rotisserie chicken.
Right.
I think it'd be probably.
I thought it was cool.
I was waiting to see if Chewie just ate it, put it in his mouth like in a cartoon, and pull all the bones out, or if he just like chomped through the bones and everything. And
I
just
thought he
kept
was
chewing.
still going to bite into it at the very end. I thought he was going to be like just typical. I feel like typical Chewie would probably have been like, all right, I'll just walk off. I'll just walk over here.
Right, because he's got a heart.
Yeah, because he's got a heart. I won't eat in front of you, but I'm going to fucking eat. Which seems to be a little bit more Chewie-like.
Right.
I got a feeling he still ate it. Like, I got a feeling.
He's like,
I did cook it. I'm not going to just throw it away.
That'll be the extra 30 seconds of the movie we get 30 years from now.
Yeah, right. The extra special release. So, bringing it back to the scene there. So we get some Chewie and the Porgs. But then the thing to mention here for me is the milking scene. And I was like, what the fuck was that?
It's the blue milk from.
We need to know where that comes from.
So maybe, but still,
what's the problem with it?
For me, it was that it was just the weirdness of it all.
Well, it's a throwback to where the blue milk comes from.
No, I get that.
We get that.
I get that.
Like for me though, it was just mildly unpleasant.
Well, it was complete.
I say that and it was like really mildly because I really don't like. I'm not one of these guys that like if someone's breastfeeding in public or something.
Yeah. Well, yeah, it's
Or it's like, hey, if someone came up to me and said, hey, dude, I have breast milk in my coffee, I wouldn't be like grossed out by it.
I hope you boiled it or something.
But, you know
what it was?
Yeah.
It was fucking weird.
That's what I'm saying. It was a very weird scene because it's not just about him, because it is, yes, him going over there and squeezing the milk out of this weird thing that's like, it does like this slow look over the way, like it continues to be weird up to the point where Luke turns around and he's got like a little bit of milk rolling out of his mouth. And he's like, which I think might be him like trying to scare her away. Yeah. Like, look at me, look what I've become. Get off my island. I'm horrible.
Yeah.
But I took that as more of it being him being like,
well, I get
like,
it's also
like gross humor.
Yeah.
But it's also showing him how he survives on the island. Because it shows you how he eats.
Yeah.
And
the story doesn't circumvent the weirdness, though.
Yeah.
No.
The story point doesn't make it less weird for me. Because sometimes the story point will forgive me for. I can forgive something that kind of took me out, or was an odd thing, or wasn't funny. It's like yes, I didn't need that particular. I just feel like that. Not that I didn't need it or offended me on a personal level, like it's tits. I don't care, but I just feel like it feels like a weird moment that doesn't really get that weird. Star Wars doesn't get that weird. Like it felt Monty Python-y or something weird, just because it was like a weird puppet. Like if it was some other kind of puppet, I probably wouldn't. They were going for some weird thing.
And it's also that montage. All of a sudden he starts walking around with this like 6-foot sea bass over his shoulder.
Yeah.
You got all this stuff going on.
Well, the milk thing launches that sequence.
The milk. If it was just that.
Just the milk?
Just the milking thing. Okay, that would have been weird. But when you had the whole Poe Hux thing before that, and then the whole Finn waking up scene, and him milking, going all around, all of that just keeps building and building of this tone of like something feels off about this movie.
It has got a lot more humor. It's got a lot more humor than you're probably used to in the first half of a Star Wars film. I'll kind of give you that. Because it is doing some jokey beats.
It's different,
more than you're used to.
And they're not normal like quick quips or one-liners or double takes. It's these hokey kind of jokey jokes.
A little bit.
That just didn't.
You might need to revisit some
blame
Star
Marvel.
Wars,
Blame Marvel. I mean, they've been putting a lot of jokes in their movies from day one, and it's become part of the formula.
But those jokes all flow from the scenes. Right. These jokes these jokes mostly feel tacked on.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
I don't feel so.
No.
I think if anything, it's a sense of like those jokes that don't land sometimes in this because I don't know how much Rian Johnson is known for being funny. So and it's about a certain aesthetic too.
Yeah, it just feels like what's the weirdest way we could present this scene, and that's what they went with.
It's not. I think it shows you a little bit on how Luke survives on that island of nothing.
Well, that's the story point.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
That's the whole point. That's the point of that montage.
While I will agree that things are a little off You know what I mean? I thought it was interesting.
No, yeah.
You know what I mean? I do not feel that things are off.
Yeah. I mean, I don't either, really. I mean, I do get the idea that, you know, for some...
Ed, I'm sorry. I'm just starting to get the feeling that maybe you were just looking for a little more seriousness in this type of movie. And they're kind of channeling a little bit more of these Guardians of the Galaxy.
No, you know what? My vision is my belief is this. This is Rian Johnson taking Star Wars elements through his eyes.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
There's nothing different in humor. You know what I mean? Or there's weird things that go on in Star Wars. You know what I mean? But now he's giving us his.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Which is weird because his other movies are deadly serious.
You know what? But the thing is, things do get serious here.
Yeah, I mean, eventually. But what was you were
maybe
that's
point. Maybe that's why some of it's not sitting well with you, Ed. Because maybe it's just missing a beat. If this was your guy, what's his name from Thor, who did this, maybe these beats would hit better in a way that you would be more accepting of
or anticipating.
Well,
yeah,
I
mean, you know, so maybe that's just what you went in. Maybe you went into this looking at. All right, this is Star Wars. It's supposed to be kind of more on the serious side. So
it's Rian Johnson.
Yeah,
so maybe you kind of expected something a little different.
Yeah, and then you were a little disappointed at the flow right from the get go because the first thing you get is a semi humorous scene.
I'm actually very shocked at you right now. You know what I mean? Because
shocked.
No, because
I think we need to.
Ed's usually like, you know, when he gives his reviews, you know what I mean. I'm invested in them.
Right.
You know what I mean, and I respect them. You know what I mean, and whatnot. But dude, man, I truly am fucking shocked.
Well, I will.
We're not even getting into the meat of it yet.
You already fucking got me living.
So I will agree that I was kind of surprised,
dude. Man, I'm having.
Jay, I think you need to not take it so personally too.
I'm not taking it personal. It's just that I'm here to fucking stick up for this. But then, to all people that are disappointed by this in the highest order. I didn't see the movie these people saw.
Right. Well,
so I'm here to do that. But for Ed on this show to trash that,
well, I was surprised that he did,
and to hear the elements that he's complaining about, I can't take it seriously. Well, I honestly don't take him seriously. It's
feels
the way
different.
I feel.
It feels like
it's just the way. It's just the way I feel.
I think that's because you're taking it a little too personal.
Right. I'm not taking it personally. I'm passionate about something. Right. But I really feel that he might have been. It almost sounds like you're out to attack this.
No.
Well, that's what it sounds like to me because you're nitpicking like all these.
And just like that,
these negative
it
fucks
sounds. And just like that,
it
sounds like you're taking it personal.
Well, all right.
So I mean, that's where we are.
It's only going to get worse.
No, I know. We're not even there yet. So
Yeah.
speaking of worse, because it's a sad moment, the door kicks in. We think for a second maybe that's Rey using the Force powers, but it's actually Chewie. It's Chewie. Chewie's back. Chewie meets Han, sees Luke, and it's a nice moment. Well, trying, and so we get this moment where Luke's like, "Where's Han?" And so those two have a bit of a moment that we kind of don't really, because I think he says like, "Where's Han?" and then the scene jumps. So it's like you really don't get. Obviously, it's him and Chewie. It's going to be a one-sided conversation.
Yeah. There's just like a moment where everyone's kind of like staring at each other and no one's saying anything.
Yeah, and then obviously,
and then they just kind of move on.
Off camera, he gets
because he kind of puts two and two together in that moment because he's like, "You're here."
Han's not.
The Falcon's here.
She mentions the Falcon. That's
right.
What it is.
Yes. Right. So yeah. So it's a down note there a little bit, but it was going to happen.
It had to happen.
So we get this scene where Snoke and Kylo are face to face, and Kylo gets some reprimand basically, and Snyder's like, "Take off that stupid mask," and it turns out that the mask was just Kylo's like arts and crafts project one day long ago.
I feel it's Kylo's homage to Darth Vader.
No, absolutely.
Well, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what it was in the first movie. But I think
obviously, that's totally what it is.
Yeah, personally speaking, when I saw this scene that we're going to continue to explain,
just that he breaks the mask. Yeah.
Right. That immediately it was a reaction to the people complaining about the mask in the last movie.
Yeah, I mean it might be that, but I liked the fact that like he did it because I felt like it was him like reacting to being called out on it, but at the same time, like I think it's the seed of him starting to grow a little bit of wings where it's about throwing the old ideas away, like Yeah, I am wearing this homage to my grandfather. Like fuck that. Like, you know what I mean? And then
that works for his character.
And it does, because he's constantly wrestling with everything.
And you know what? And that's a good point, because it does follow with the theme of the movie, which is throwing away the old stuff, old themes, and getting on with new stuff.
When I was rewatching, I was like, maybe that's where the seed kind of starts. I was thinking, like, in that hallway where he's just like, fuck this mask, and fuck everything, fuck Snoke.
Right.
Like, that's like this actually where like the seeds of that all kind of, like that's where it really kind of starts for him, I think. But I was glad to see him break the mask, because it was like one of these things where it's like, well, you know, you obviously don't need it, kid, for anything practical.
Right. So, Darth Vader needed it. You didn't.
Yeah, you know, and it's like, it's just some kind of like, you know, persona you've built for yourself, and, you know, you just be you. Just be you. Why not be you? So,
no problems here?
So,
no, I enjoyed it.
Good, move on before I fucking hit him.
Kylo, though, gets all worked up, and he's like, I'm going to get in my X-Wing, prepare my fucking ship. And then he does the whole thing that we saw in the previews, which is like, you know, they start the attack towards Leia on their ship, and he's about to shoot at his mom, but he stops, which we didn't see in the commercials.
Conflict, building the conflict.
And then somebody else shoots and shoots the ship. And I felt like it was a little bit of like, sometimes I have a problem with that when they do that in movies, where it's like the character we like is about to do something bad, and we still want that to happen, so we get somebody else or some other thing to happen. The bad guy slips on the fucking rug and falls out the window. You know, somebody comes from around a corner and then shoots the bad guy in the head, and so big character Jack doesn't have to be that, doesn't have to get his hands dirty in a way. And I felt like that's kind of like what happened there. It's like, you know, they needed the ship to blow up still, that kind of stuff. It's a story thing. I get it. It's a story choice. You kind of have to do these things. You kind of get written into holes and stuff like that. But what I thought was funny on the rewatch, especially, we'll get into the Jedi Leia stuff right here, but it's the only time in Star Wars history where like science worked how it's supposed to really work. Like there was an implosion. Like there's some like it's always the thing in these movies, like, you know, explosions don't really happen in space like they do on these ships. But the one time that like we need somebody sucked out the fucking side hole, like it finally kind of happens, right? Like, you know what I mean? So we get this scene where Leia gets sucked out the side,
right?
And she looks pretty much dead. And I think for everybody in that moment, it's like, oh, okay, this is how they're going to write off Carrie Fisher. This is how we're going to say goodbye to her.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then the craziest thing happens is that like she
uses the Force. The first time she uses the Force.
The first time she really uses the Force in a major way. Like we kind of know from the last movie and this movie that she's obviously Force sensitive. Like she can feel shit out in the ether of people living and dying. But it's this kind of thing where it's super dramatic. It's maybe a little overgrand, but like I was taken aback by it, and then in the end, I was kind of okay with it. And then in the end, thinking more about it, the practicality of it, and how it could happen, I'm kind of more sold on it. Because for me, what I realized in some thinking on it is that in a 0G of space, you don't need a lot of the Force to move you. Granted, they shot it very dramatically, and on a second watch, it looks like she's really kind of like using the Force, like, you know what I mean? But I think that's her straining with a little, like she's not super powerful like Rey or like Snoke or any of them. But I think she's got it in her enough that in the 0G of space, she needs to pull herself over to something. It doesn't take anything in space to be nudged and to go flying across. So with that, like I was kind of like, I found some more science in my headspace to fucking sell me on it. But the way it was shot, I get why some people are like, whoa, what's up with that? I gotta tell you, man, Space Jesus.
I saw this Thursday night. And I could hear people around me in the theater.
I did too.
Doing a British sign going, that's fucking bullshit.
I did hear a couple of nerds be like, what? What is that?
Was that? And you know what?
Instead of giving it a minute and a breathe, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And you know, it's the kind of thing, there's been no precedent for this.
Right.
Like, I would have understood this if somehow in Force Awakens you see her moving shit around the room, you have, but there was no indication. We've always talked about, Leia we get with the Force, and everyone assumed in the books that Leia would become a Jedi too.
Right.
And there's been no indication of this until now.
But there's been enough.
The big no. See, here's the thing. My big problem with that is I don't feel like that moment was earned.
I do. I'll tell you why I do. Because we know she's Force sensitive.
Dude, Ed.
Because we know she's Force sensitive. And that's all it's taken in this entire movie for anybody to be and to kind of like, use the Force.
All we know is something big happens, and then they cut to her, and she just puts her head down. That's all we know. We haven't seen any demonstration that she can do anything else through the Force. All she can do is feel other people's
reactions. That's the whole loosey-goosey nature of the Force, is that, you're Force sensitive today, but then tomorrow you can do crazy shit. Like, that's just the way it's always been. Like, even with Lucas's days, it's like always, every movie, even in the old trilogies, constantly was putting something new out there, some kind of new way somebody else was using it. Like, parameters have never been hard set. For her, I get that.
Right,
Bob.
2 points, and I was trying to hold on to them in my head because it's following everybody, trying to remember. First, we know that she's the twin of, up till a certain point, the most powerful Jedi known. So she is, in essence, as equally powerful. She's just not trained in it. Okay. The other thing I wanted to say was, if you have a problem with her using the Force at that moment, then you got to have a problem with Rey using it at all in The Force Awakens, because she at no point in her life before that first time using it had any inkling that she could do anything.
Amazing.
And everybody was okay with that.
That's different because
that's not different. It's the same. It's an instant. I mean, it's a different situation, but it's not different in this instance because you're talking about having a history of at least some kind of relationship with the Force versus zero, and being okay with it at zero, with that person at zero.
Okay, but that's different because we've seen her over the course of that movie get into those powers. With Leia, there was no precedent.
Sure there was.
Yes,
sure
there was.
Sure there was. Leia's always been able to be Force sensitive and know what's going on, and to know she knew that she learned the truth about her and Luke, not because Luke said anything, because she sensed it in the Force.
Okay, but that's what I'm saying. The only time we've seen that is something bad will happen, and then they'll cut to Leia, and she'll put her head down.
Yes,
that's it.
And you're right. And even if that was only it, that's all you need, because that's how the Force works. And on top of that, it would ruin the surprise. Like, the reason to not show is, like, first of all, it's been 30 years their time since she found out she was Force sensitive. You know what I mean? Or that she's related to Jedis.
Right.
She got some midichlorians. So she's probably worked on it a little bit. And if you were going to watch her do shit, all you would sit there thinking is like, oh boy, I can't wait till she does more shit later on. And it would be no surprise for you in that moment. Nothing for you to sit there and ponder and wonder. Because that's another thing about this movie. This movie is designed to create conversations like this.
Right.
Just like the first one was, Force Awakens was. Half answers, half questions, things kind of like a little bit of a go either way kind of thing.
Kind of familiar.
Right.
Let me say something, Ed.
Sure.
What happened at the end of Empire Strikes Back? When Luke is hanging off of Cloud City ready to die, what happened? Who saved him?
What, he called out and Leia heard her.
Right. Leia did what? What did Leia do to go back to Luke?
She told Lando to turn around.
She looked for him.
Why?
Because she heard him. That's what I'm saying.
She used the Force. It's the Force.
She used the Force to look for him in that moment.
It was the hint that she's fucking Force sensitive.
Okay, so she's aware of the Force.
I'm not done. I'm not fucking done.
It did seem like you were for a second.
No,
I'm just saying, it did seem like you were for a second.
I'm not done. What happened in The Empire Strikes Back when he has the conversation with her that she is Force sensitive? That she has that power too, and in time you'll learn to use it as I have.
You're talking about Return of the Jedi.
Yes, I am. And then what happened at the end of that? At the very end,
but he walked away.
Right? No. When she feared, when Han Solo feared that he blew up in the Death Star.
Yeah, she knew he was alive.
All right, she's fucking Force sensitive. Over 30 years. Okay. You don't think that she's learned? I mean, I don't get. You're contradicting yourself.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong.
No, I'm not.
Don't get me wrong.
Again, you said two moments where something happened. They cut to her, and she just bowed her head and reacted.
It's
and
the
did
Force.
Something.
She is Force sensitive. She is one with the Force. You don't think that she knows how to use that in fucking 30 years?
Okay, all you have done is give me examples of when she was aware of something that happened.
I'm sorry.
You have not given me one example of where she used the Force to do something else.
Wait, hold on. Listen. One of the examples actually was more than just being aware of anything. One of the examples was Luke is hanging off that antenna at the bottom of that building,
right?
And he searched for her. He called to her, but she didn't know where he was. She had to go looking for him by using the Force to find out where he was.
Yeah, so they told Lando.
Are you fucking dead serious?
So they could turn around and go get him, but she had to find out where he was and know where he was. So she had to go looking for him mentally. That's not just being aware of people dying in the universe. That's looking for somebody and using the Force to find somebody.
Okay, so she's a GPS.
And
whatever it is, whatever it is,
the Force power has that ability.
Yeah, okay. Whatever it is, she used the Force. That's the point.
And it wasn't just like she had like a small inkling, and that's Bob's point. It wasn't just like she had an intuition, a mild feeling that he was okay in the general sense of where he was. Like, it was very specific. It was powerful. So the idea is planted. The seeds are planted in the movies in general. What you're talking about is in this movie and the movie before it. We didn't see her move anything like her jewelry over to her hand or something kind of like very quaint like that, which was a thing where it's like, well, now we're going to answer the question, right? In this movie, we're going to answer the question whether or not she's like got real Jedi training. Like, we know that she's Force sensitive. Like, that's established. But this is how we're going to choose to establish it here. And in somebody else's hands and in somebody else's movie, like, you would have gotten that. You would have gotten some kind of very telegraphed scene of, like, here, let me show you what she does now so we can do it again later on. And that shit all telegraphs kicks. Like, one of the biggest things that's ruined for me in this movie is in the end when Luke walks in and he's got a fucking dye job, okay? And that shit telegraphed the next fucking 10 minutes for me. If I had saw Leia move something, I would have known for sure that she was going to probably be fucking a badass at some point in the movie.
Right, that she was going to have to be using it again later.
But I wasn't really expecting it because he didn't keep me freshly reminded. So when it came, it was kind of a surprise, and I had to process it and think it through. I had to find the logic in it before I gave it a shit time.
And what I'm saying is because there was no precedent for it, I didn't find the logic in it, and I just thought it was stupid.
But now I think what we've done now is we've tried to point out to you that we think that there is a precedent.
Okay, and I'm saying I don't find your evidence credible.
I'm telling you that using the Force to save her life is far-fetched. You don't understand Star Wars. And I mean that wholeheartedly, and I won't take it back.
Jay.
Move the fuck on. Move the fuck on. I don't care.
One other thing I'm going to say about this scene.
Right.
And again,
we'll give you this and we'll wrap.
To tone and the way it was done and the way it was shot and the fact that Carrie Fisher died and you thought, oh, this is how they're going to write her out of the scene.
No, I do agree with that.
The fact that she survives that, it feels like a huge fucking cheat. No, and I think if after that happened, the right thing to do, rather than build up everyone's hopes and everything like that, and would just to not do the scene at all. Have it be that she attacks, she survives somehow.
I think the whole plan.
I think that's a crock of shit, Ed.
But here's the thing: I think that stuff's already in the script before she passed away.
Oh, of course,
and you would have to retrofit all this other shit that was already shot.
It was a chance.
If you changed her death, that to her death moment. You would have had to kind of change other stuff around.
It was a chance to show her Force power.
Right. That's really what it's all. That scene is designed to show her use it in a very extreme way. But that's what it's all designed to do. It's designed to finally answer the question for the fanboys: does she have it? It's like, yes, she does. And let's show them something crazy. Let's show them something they've never seen. Probably something that would only have happened in the books to a B character. Yeah. We've decided to kind of have it happen to Leia. You know what I mean?
It just felt hokey to me.
So does her waking up from a coma at a very convenient fucking time in the third act.
So does every point exactly.
But that's these movies. But that's how these movies run. And that's how these.
I am so disappointed in Ed to a point where it's really just.
It's a matter of with these movies. I get that it is a matter of how much do you kind of what works for you versus what doesn't, and what kind of like sits well. I will agree with you on the whole. They sold that scene as if that was her fucking death, and they convinced us all. And I don't feel like it was a cheat because they probably were doing that anyway. She happened to die in real life after the fact. So the fact that they left her in at the very end, it didn't come up with some cockamamie other way for her to die.
Right.
Shows me that.
And it seemed throughout the movie, like it was like they were trying not to overuse her.
Yeah,
physically speaking.
Right, like they wrote in Holdo coming in and taking over, basically. So like
so she's not working.
Right. Well, so the Leia character is off camera. It's a Professor X move in a little bit of a way. It's like, okay, we want to do something with this character, but let's do something that puts them off the grid. That's the choice made. All right, so let's keep it moving. So he comes in, whereas Han, basically we go back to, I forget where we found out about the light speed tracking, on which side we found out about on eventually. Oh, okay. So that was on the First Order side. They were talking about, it's the first time it's mentioned, is the light speed tracking. We jumped to Finn and Rose meeting, which is kind of cool. I thought it was, she's kind of like, enamored by him, like she knows like this legend of him and shit like that, and he's kind of hamming it up, and he's like, well, I'm not taking it, I'm not jumping. Okay, yes, you caught me. I am taking an escape pod. I am one of those guys, and she fucking zaps him, and she's taking him. So I thought that was pretty cool. I like her. I have no problem with her. I think she's a great character. And it kind of starts there. This is the first step of their adventure together. Then we jump to Snoke and Kylo. Okay, I guess I skipped over that.
Yeah,
so where Kylo breaks the mask, Kylo gets into the Jedi.
We're up to
Finn and Rose. Finn and Rose. The adventure starts really. So they kind of go on their little side thing for a quick moment, which leads them to Poe, who's just been called out by Holdo, who just arrived, taking over for Leia, who's incapacitated. Holdo gives Poe...
Evidently, she just came for some charity benefits.
Yeah, she was just hanging out. But she was just in town. But Poe gets a very similar kind of reprimand thing, which I kind of feel is a little. This I feel is a little bit of a cheat, where she doesn't tell him the plan, and then so because he doesn't know the plan and he's a hothead, he's got to kind of set some stuff into motion.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like
because we gotta sell toys. That's all this whole plot line's about.
Give me a fucking break.
We're not even up to that. We're not even up to that.
You're jumping on.
No, this is the start of it, man. This is the start of it.
Right, but that's not it, though.
Yeah.
We're not
I'm ready for you, man.
We're not at that point.
So ready.
Yeah.
We're not near that point yet. You're already
on.
saying the whole storyline, but it's not.
I'm ready.
Moving
I'm ready,
on.
Ed.
I'm not even looking at you. So Holdo enters, and she's not big on Poe. She gives Poe another fucking reprimand, basically. It becomes this whole thing about, I'm not going to tell you the plan. You just fucking wait and take orders, which is fine and fair because you're the captain now. You know what I mean? But ultimately, it's a thing in the story. It's a plot device to not have her literally say, I have a plan, but shut up and wait for orders. Like, for some reason, he thinks that she's here and she doesn't have a plan, which is kind of like, it's a little bit of a stretch for him. But he's a hothead, so I'll give that to him. That's the kind of thing they want to do. So with that...
a little more character development for Poe.
Well, I mean, it's not really. It's just kind of reaffirming.
No, it does, because we didn't get too much of Poe in Force Awakens.
Well, in this particular thing, it just kind of reaffirms that he's a hothead.
Yeah,
right.
He doesn't
But
take
that's
orders.
fine.
To be honest,
It's not development. It's just continuation.
It's just a rehash of the same scene he had with Leia earlier in the movie.
It did feel like that to me, where it's like he's just getting balled out again.
Yeah.
And this time, though, it's going to push him to start this thing where it's about, like, well, how can...
What's wrong with that?
We've got some info. There's nothing wrong with him taking of the thing. But
to me, that was a natural progression.
Yeah, it felt like a natural progression, but it didn't feel like we needed Holdo to do it. I felt like, putting Leia in stasis was a thing where it's like... And then to bring Holdo in and not have her say that to him just felt like this kind of slight, this very convenient miscommunication type thing, which leads him down this hole, which he should just kind of be like, well, what's your plan? I'll tell you the plan tomorrow. Well, I'm not waiting. I would have rather like a harder commitment that didn't feel like a verbal dodge. Because it just in the end, it's like, well, I didn't tell you the plan because I don't have to tell you the plan. Well, you could have told me you actually had a plan. If I knew that you had a plan, I would have waited. It's basically in the end how they resolve that.
What are you laughing at?
Because he agrees. Because he agrees.
I'm not done with you, dude.
But
That's right.
But again,
So everyone's friends, right?
anyway,
I don't know.
we'll find out Saturday.
I don't know. We'll find out Saturday.
We'll see who walks in. So basically, we get the Maz Kanata.
Meanwhile, section's going to be real interesting now.
The Maz Kanata Skype.
I'm so disappointed in you, dude. But
The Maz Kanata Skype call.
it was a Skype call.
Well, I don't know. Deep space Skype. I don't know what you call it.
All right.
But but that's what it was. It was a hologram call where she's like in the middle of a battle.
We got letters. They wanted her back. We had to jam her in somehow.
You know what I mean? People like her, and they do. And it was cool to kind of see her real quick. And again, I kind of want to know more about Maz Kanata. Like,
well, they said, well, they did say she's going to play a larger role in the next film. Yes,
well, that's good. That's good. Because it seems like she made me. I mean, I don't need to know that like this thing she was fighting, this union fight, was connected in anything. I don't need it to.
Well, we knew from the get. I actually knew from the get-go that they said that she'll be in it, but it won't be that much of a role.
Because I know like there's a pass on the script where like she actually of Force Awakens where like she plays a bigger role, and I think in the books that tie in like you get more on her.
Yeah.
So I know she is a fan favorite. It's a shame that she doesn't get enough screen time.
Right.
But this sets them out because she tells Ammo, look, you got to find this hacker dude, and he's the best hacker ever. So I'm going to tell you where to go. You go to Canto Bay. You look for this guy with this freaky flower on his lapel. He's going to look a lot like James Bond, and that's the guy.
Right. Okay, all right.
But we're not there yet.
What the fuck's wrong with that now?
Because he wants to. Because I mentioned it. So when we get there, he's going to have something about Canto Bay. You know that's coming.
Oh no, I'm not talking about Canto Bay. I'm talking about the fact that you leave that ship at all. The physics of this storyline make absolutely no sense at all.
The 18 hours. You're talking about the 18 hours timeline?
Yeah. So
I did have that was my one issue.
Yeah. So you're on a ship that is leaking, that is hemorrhaging fuel.
Right.
That you need to get there because the second you stop, all of this swarm of fleet are going to devour you.
Right.
And you think it's okay to go to another planet in another star system that you'll be able to grab that guy and get back in time to go onto a different ship.
It's a plan,
and do all of this.
Yeah, it's a hope against hope.
It's a hope against hope.
It makes no sense.
Yes, it does. It makes
in a sense, it's a last-ditch effort.
No, I'll tell you exactly what this seems like. We need to get on another planet and see more creatures. So let's come up with an excuse. That's exactly what this is.
No, it's not.
It makes no sense.
No, it does make sense. He just said it. It's a last resort. You know what I mean? It's what else are you going to do? You're going to die.
The physics of that scene make no sense.
It makes...
The physics of getting there and getting back in time.
Yes.
18 hours.
It makes no sense.
What else are you going to do? We're going to die. Might as well try.
Jay, it's not, at this point, it's not about what are we going to do.
He's getting upset over something.
Jay, it's about, right now it's about the time frame. It's not about what we're doing. And I agree on the time frame. Because that was my one thing. Throughout that whole period, I wanted to see how they were going to get starships. Now, remember, we're talking about outer space.
All
right? Anything I've ever seen in outer space, if you got to go one planet to another planet, you can either get there in a moment because you're at warp speed, or it's going to take a considerable amount of time. So, if you can't get there in a moment, you're not telling me you can get there in 18 hours. I mean, we're talking about it just seemed a little too unrealistic that they could get there, get everything done, get arrested, see everything, and do everything that they did, and then find a guy and get back.
Who's not the guy they were looking for.
Right, who's not the guy they were looking for.
Jumping ahead.
And get back. As far as the time frame goes, it felt very unrealistic to me. If they had told me that was if it was they had a 48-hour window and they had to do all this, I would have been perfectly fine with it.
Well, there is
36 hours, something like that. 18 just seemed a little too tight.
There's light speed that they went through, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So
But who can account for that?
But
All right,
what is
that's
light
the way-
speed?
well,
Depending on the franchise that you're looking at in any moment.
That's the thing.
Light speed is totally different.
I actually don't think it's that.
wiggle-
I don't think 18 hours is unrealistic.
So I felt like it was. I felt like it was a little unrealistic.
I don't think that's unrealistic.
Didn't bother me that much.
How long is it when anytime you've been in jail? How long was it before you actually got into a cell?
What?
Anytime you were in jail, how long was it?
This isn't that kind of a
how long?
podcast.
How long of a time did it take before you were actually in a cell? All right.
Processing takes a while, is what you're saying.
Right.
I got you.
Okay.
I got you.
All right, but this is Star Wars, man. You know what I mean?
I will say that the reason it didn't bother me too much, and it did bother the guy Brian, and we went to see it with my buddy from work. He was like, "What was it with the time frame? That didn't feel right." I will agree that in the end, it's like it's time, it's space travel, it's all loosey goosey. I think them even mentioning parsecs is like supposed to be like a joke reference to the fact that parsecs don't actually work like they do, like supposed to, like in real world. Like it's that whole gag. So I get it. But it didn't bother me too much as far as the time structure stuff.
I mean, you want to tell me we're going to sneak onto that other ship and try to figure this out? Okay, that sounds like a hope against hope.
Yeah.
Let's go with that. Finn was a stormtrooper. He probably knows something, knows his way around there.
Exactly, it all stands.
But the fact that you got to go get somebody else,
yeah,
I don't know.
Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. There are times in movies where certain plot lines feel like, it's the MacGuffin chase.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we have to go get this thing so that we can go finish it, and it feels like video gamey a little bit sometimes. And I get that. And this kind of felt like that a little bit to me too. Them running around to have to kind of like it wasn't an object this time. It was a person.
You've seen that 1,000 times before in movies. Why is it a problem here?
I think for me it's always a problem.
But no. I'm talking about the fact that it's a mission. Okay,
right.
or in fact, because you know what, Ed, you're going to die.
We need to be videoing this right now.
No, listen to me. You're going to die. You're going to die in 18 hours. You're going to fucking die. What would you do anything you could, even if it was against the odds? Would you do everything you could? Yeah. Yes or no?
Because logically, this makes no sense.
How? How does it like? Does light speed make logical
travel
sense?
in parsecs, which isn't time, or distance. I think
you are watching a science fiction film. You do know that, right? First of all, number one, the fact is that they're going to try to get off the ship and go find this guy. Okay, I don't see anything illogical about that.
And I'm just going to say, if it was animated, nobody would have any problem with anything.
I don't see nothing illogical about that, and I don't agree with you one bit. Secondly, it's a little bit of a mission, a Saturday matinee kind of mission that fills this Saturday matinee kind of film here. You know what I mean? Because Star Wars is based on the old school serial. You know what I mean? There is a mission here. You know what I mean? I do not get why this is such a huge goddamn motherfucking cocksucking problem.
Because there's no reason they should have left that ship. The only reason they should have left that ship would be to go to the other ship.
They did not know that they had a ship that tracks light speed. That is a different game changer in the script. You don't track people in light speed, but now they have something. That's evolution of technology, I guess. You know what I mean? Which is cool in the fact. So they're racing against time. It's basically the rebellion's about to die.
What I'm saying is the scenario that they set up for the parameters of that peril, the solution that they came up with made no logical sense.
I wholeheartedly disagree. It makes perfect sense.
It was a way to kind of say we have a plan. We need to send two people out to kind of try and do it. We're hoping it's going to work. We're stuck in this.
No, the second you say we're going to send two people to another planet, sorry. No.
Who cares?
No, there's no way.
But in the end, would you say no?
You wouldn't have time. You would not have time.
It wouldn't matter. You would send them anyway.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would say, Ed, you have to go.
Ed, take your head out of your ass.
And if you told me no, I would say fine. Go sit over there. I'm going to find two other people to try and save us.
No, right. The better fix for this would be to have had Benicio del Toro in the brig on the ship for some reason.
No.
Had him dropping off weapons.
No.
And we would have had the guy.
No.
Wraps it up too fast.
Yeah.
No.
Wraps it up too fast.
No.
It
wraps up a 2-hour and 45-minute movie too fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
No.
Yeah. Because you just took a whole plot line and chopped it down to a 2-scene thing.
Yeah. Which is why I'm showing you why this is so extraneous.
Right.
It's not extraneous.
The only reason you're putting that argument at all is because ultimately we know that at the end of this, they didn't need to do it. Right? But they don't know that it doesn't pay out for them. But the whole thing is that they can't know that. Okay? And we're talking about a moment of desperation. Okay? And we're also talking about a movie, so a little suspension of disbelief is required.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, Ed.
To me, the only reason you went to another planet was because you wanted to show more animals so you could sell more toys.
That's bullshit.
That's why we spent so much time showing you that planet. Yeah. But that's not why we went there.
Right, yeah, they didn't have to.
Because the same shit.
Because what we could have done is had them go there with that same time frame and just not show them doing all that shit and cut out 10 minutes of movie. And had them come back. And had them come back. So I get that. Like, yes, there is 10 minutes that is kind of like, we're going to show some stuff, and that's what this whole movie is.
But they also give us something important in that moment, too, because they give us more of Rose.
They give us more of Rose. We get to meet Rose and enjoy Rose. And Finn, ultimately,
we find out a key moment about her in there that maybe we don't find out another way.
It's true. And I argue that the real setup, I feel like, for those scenes and the reason to do them is other things. It's kind of like it's a Finn storyline. Like, what is Finn going to do in this movie? You know what I mean? Let's have him go on a side adventure with a character.
What's wrong with that?
And that is character service.
Why are you laughing at
it? And I get it. What you're laughing at is because that can be viewed as empty character service. And I get that.
Yeah.
But in the end, it's about how much time we spend there.
Yeah.
And I agree that it's fine if it's empty and if it's a dead run. And I like movies all of a sudden shit turns sour. It's like we had all the hopes in this and it went sour.
Yeah.
And but I think in the end, it's about how much time is spent there.
Yeah, I mean, to me, this was also, you had a character who you should have killed off last time, and you didn't know what to do with them, so let's bloat up this storyline to give him something to do.
I agree that it feels like a little bit of something to do, and I feel like Rian Johnson himself, knowing that every Star Wars movie has to have a scene where it takes place like in a place, but and this is that, also feels like this is going to serve to the world building that he wants to do as well. He wants to show the war, the effect of war, how people profiteer off of it, and, set the seeds for the kid that we see at the very end. Like, you know what I mean? So it serves these other things.
And that brings up another point that we don't know where this is going to be lead. We don't know that this is just going to be hung out here just for this one movie and never used again.
Canto Bight could turn into something else in the next one.
I mean, we're talking about a casino planet, right?
Yeah.
So
you don't get Justin Theroux for one scene. They could have got anybody to play that guy with the lapel thing if he was never going to be seen again. Just saying.
That's a good point.
And hey, that guy's a fucking big timer.
I think you need to go back and understand what you watched.
That's a little harsh,
Dude,
Jay.
man, oh my God, dude.
So,
Jay.
So now that we're moving on.
Why you keep saying my fucking
I'm
name
sorry,
like it's,
Jay.
Jay,
you're taking it a little personally, though, man. I'm not trying to get you upset.
You get so worked up, though. You do understand. It's how much you get worked up.
But I believe that Ed's critique of this is total horseshit.
Right, and it's not like any other horseshit you haven't heard in life, my friend. So we're just worried about you having a heart attack.
44% of the nerds that saw this movie are agreeing with him.
And I have a problem with
all right, so it's not like he's alone here. All right, and he's got issues with this. We're not even halfway through the movie, and I got issues with this too.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that whole plot line. If you put this movie on a graph and outlined it, it's this giant chunk of fat that if you removed it, the story would completely work.
Yes.
Nothing else. Which tells me why the fuck did I waste my time watching that?
Because you don't fucking get it, and you just totally disagree with every fucking thing you just said. Because everything makes sense.
Yeah.
Because we were having fun watching the movie. See, here's the thing. Here's a big difference. Right. When we got to the scene, we were already having fun watching the movie. So when they started showing us other stuff, we took the ride with it. You were already having some issues with the movie. Right. So when it got to that scene, you were hypercritical at that moment. Granted, afterwards, I'm hypercritical of it too, in a way. But it's not like it's a hard bone of contention for me. It's like I get what it is and what it's trying to be in that scene.
We all know that looking back, that at that moment, all that is unnecessary. We all know that because we saw the end of that plot line and all felt that in that moment in the movie too. But that part, it's we don't know that it's not going to serve another purpose anywhere. To say that it's totally unnecessary, sure, technically yes. But it's part of the movie. Was it good? Was it worth it? Was it enjoyable?
It's debatable. And here we are.
Yeah.
So for me, it worked because in the end, I liked the idea of trying to build out the worlds a little bit. You know what I mean? Does it work on all angles? Not necessarily. But in the end, I get it. I get what you're saying.
If you're gonna do that, if you're gonna do world building, then don't set up this fight or flight death scenario.
Why not?
It's one or the other. To me, they were trying to have their cake and eat it too.
It's an action movie.
I don't think it's.
How are you going to do that in action? You're going to slow things down in an action movie? No,
they already did.
That's what this was.
This movie was a roller coaster from the moment that it opens. Because the moment it opens, we got a guy in a friggin' X-wing staring down a friggin' destroyer. Okay, so to say that they're going to slow it down at some point, nah, that's not going to work.
It's not going to work. That's why they wouldn't even dwell on the fact that the ships were moving at like a very slow rate. Like that was the thing. Like the ships were like, well, we'll just coast and we'll get our shields up and we'll just keep hitting them. Like we didn't dwell on that too long because it's a little anticlimactic.
The space version of the OJ chase.
Yeah.
At least the OJ chase was.
Just fast enough until they can get back and jump to light speed with the no fuel that they will have left.
It's all super convenient because that's movies, though. Yeah. Movies rely on that annoying kind of level of super convenience.
Yeah. No movies are no movie's perfect, Ed. No movie's perfect.
So with that, let's jump right over some other shit real quick because we kind of hit a couple of notes during that whole thing. But we will kind of mention the whole Rey and Kylo long distance connection.
That was cool.
That whole kind of bonding thing and them getting to know each other and feel each other out to a degree. And I like that shit. Like if you had told me that, I'd probably be like, oh, because I would probably get described badly. But like, I was digging it. I was digging it. I was like, all right, because also too, like, I liked the idea at the time before you find out what's really going on that like it was something that was happening between the two of them, and it was unique to them. Either like he's like, how are you doing this? Because like the presumption from him is like she's doing it, and she doesn't know anything from anything, so she's got no like real presumption other than like I don't know, like am I doing it, like so I really liked all that stuff. I felt like it was a great way to kind of like you didn't have to have them locked into some kind of other kind of forced situation or something, like some kind of forced scene or location where they're together. Yeah. Like, we kind of we found a way. And also at the same time, it's you learn later on is Snoke manipulating them, basically. And probably like eavesdropping like a motherfucker.
You got this like that all that stuff. I thought that was when I started digging the movie. That was when I started like at a certain at a certain point I told you I liked the last third. I mean, at a certain point I was like, you know what? If it had been just Rey's story, and then all of a sudden she gets pulled in and realizes that like the resistance, it's on its last legs, like that was the surprise, and you're like waiting, like where is everybody? And then you jump into that shit. I was wondering like what would that have been like? I think that's something that could have been interesting.
Yeah, well, I mean, I feel like it was interesting anyway. So we finally get a shot of Luke checking out the Falcon, which was very kind of somber.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, that's all we're at. Well, I'm skipping over all the other shit because you guys jumped ahead. Basically, we jumped ahead a little bit. So
I had to.
We're not going to talk about stuttering Fenster.
No, we didn't get there yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean, but we kind of did, but we didn't get into it.
God, I swear to God.
Like,
oh my God. People for less.
So with that, Luke gets to see R2, and they have a moment. They have and then like R2 kind of convinces Luke, like in his bleeps and his bleeps and his bloops.
And that vintage footage he had.
You know what I love about this whole thing?
One valid point.
Ed,
I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it again. You have not made one fucking valid point that support, and you're better than that. Actually, you're actually better than that, Ed.
I don't know. I think I explained myself pretty clearly.
I think you're full of shit. I actually think you were out to sabotage this movie. If I didn't know you better.
What's great is that Jay at one point was like, yeah, I think I'm just going to lean into it. And now I know that he's totally not. And I kind of for a second thought, you were, Ed? And now I realize that no one's leaning into anything here.
I am laughing out of fear because I know the second I show any sense of fear at all, I'm going to get eaten alive.
I'm just happy it's not a Saturday. So
it's like what they tell you when you see a bear in the woods. You got to stand there and look big.
Yep.
So with that, yeah, Luke offers her 3 lessons. He's like, I run a small dojo. I only got time. three lessons, and then we're out.
Well, those little stone huts are kind of small.
Yeah, you really can't get a lot going on in there.
He shows her the ancient Chinese secrets.
Well, basically, yeah.
Can we tone it the fuck down at least?
So how come when Ed's got a joke, it's like
stupid?
But if I said the same thing, right? If I said the same thing, it wouldn't bother you.
Yeah, but he's really
because he means it. He thinks it's a Chinese secret.
He's really fucking.
Well, Ed says that it's a laundry joke.
Oh,
right. No tiki, no laundry. All right, so Ray with the whole.
Ruin our relationship.
Ray with the new Hall of Mirrors thing. I thought it was a cool effect. I thought that was some interesting stuff. Very, very reminiscent of Luke's cave journey, where like he saw a vision of himself in his father's suit and stuff like that. She also has a moment where it's the question of her own questioning of who she is, which much like Luke's questioning of who he is in that scene. And then he sees his father. And then in the end, he sees himself. And for her, it's like she saw her parents for a split second behind this foggy window. And then it becomes herself. So it's, I don't know what really kind of like the deep sentiment you're supposed to take away from those moments really is.
Yeah.
But it is about self-reflection and self-introspection and them finding deeper meaning within themselves or some shit. we get a little bit of clarity on Luke and Kylo, initially from Luke's side, which is that, like,
dude went nuts. I had to try and kill him, man.
Yeah, well, no, at this point, it's like the dude just went nuts and, like, burned the place down and took the other kids. Like, he omits the whole idea of him standing over Kylo.
That's true, that's right.
The first time he tells her the story. Then when she hears it from Kylo, she confronts him, and then he tells the truth.
Right, so we hear 3 versions.
Basically, yeah.
Which I thought was very cool.
I thought it was very cool. I thought it was...
Nice little Rashomon.
Yeah, a little Rashomon.
So you like that?
Yeah, that was cool.
Ring the fucking bell,
Cool.
man, somebody.
Let's get some positive flow here going, guys.
Like Rashomon into the Kurosawa?
So...
I've been nothing but positive.
That does not sound like it. I mean, you are positive about the things you like.
Yeah, positive
so-
about... I'm sorry, I stepped on you. I'm sorry.
Everything. I'm defending.
I don't
I
know.
know.
Are the mics picking him up?
Yeah, I mean, he's loud enough. The mics are picking him up. So we get that.
Getting away easy, dude.
I don't think he thought.
that, right?
I don't think he thought he was ever going to.
No.
He did not.
I do have work tomorrow.
So yeah. So that's like I was trying to say before. The only thing that's I'm happy about now is that it's not Saturday and we won't end up here till 3 a.m. Anyway, so Rey basically, despite all this stuff, she wants Luke to come and join the fight, and he won't. And they have this kind of like moment, this kind of spat, and so she leaves. She takes Chewie and the Porgs and the Falcon, and she leaves, which just leaves Luke there with the toad nuns or whatever they are, caretakers.
By the way, can we have a shout out to practical effects in this?
Yeah,
the
a
fact
lot.
that those
So much.
there were puppets in this.
Yeah,
and
or people in suits. I think.
yeah, not. I mean, there were a share of CG characters.
Yeah, but not. But
Yeah, but
not
like
much.
but a lot of like the little characters, like the guys who were the caretakers of Hope Island. Those look like they were people to me.
Yeah, those are like people in suits
right,
to me.
yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and movies need to do that more often.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially movies like this where it's like, yeah, I know you guys want to go CG, but just make a puppet, see how it looks.
I mean, CG is cool; it's the in thing, but sometimes you need to like. It helps. It just helps the realism for some reason.
It's the lighting. It's the natural truth.
It's tactile. You can tell when something's animated. As good as it is, you could still tell.
Yeah. All right. So then she flies off, and she basically hands herself over to Kylo aboard their ship. All right. So bad news. We went from that point you just heard for another about 20, 30 minutes, and then intermittently checking to see if we were recording, and we were not recording. We were up to an hour and 53 when I realized that this thing had stopped for some reason.
So there was, it's Ed's negativity that
killed it?
knocked it right out of the.
Well, what's funny is
Karma,
that's about when it stopped.
That's about, and not for nothing. Like, it's going to feel like we're making it up, considering what the people just heard. But like, it really did start to taper off the ferocity of the conversation. We'll say that.
No, you got all that. I think.
Yeah, I think we got all that.
I think that's what your laptop wanted.
Yeah, maybe the laptop had had enough.
Die down.
The laptop had enough.
Unless Ed had more for me.
I don't think so in a major way. But basically, what we can say is that from, let me see. From the part with the puppet, they got the crate. We all had like that. We got along about that. BB-8 and the AT-AT. We got along about that. Well, we did kind of get down about Finn dying, maybe not dying. There was some disagreement on that.
Well, I thought it would have been cooler or more. It would have validated Finn more if Rose died.
And I disagreed with that, of course.
And we were all generally okay if Finn had died in that moment when he was.
Yeah, we all kind of were resigned to it. In that moment, we were all kind of feeling like he was about to bite it.
But it brings a love story, possibly, in the night, which we have not seen.
Maybe in the beginning of the next one we'll see Finn lose his virginity, and that'll be the funny moment.
Right. Oof. So from that, It was all about the bittersweet moment with Leia and Luke reuniting a little bit. Luke showing up with a haircut and a dye job. How much that kind of like telegraphed what was going on.
Feeding
badass it was.
Feeding the salt.
Feeding the salt, all that people didn't see. The misdirect a little bit there of him being an apparition.
Those hot dogs look good, Bob.
And then
no,
they smell good. Just to continue the theme, like I don't know if people missed that at the point where Bob stopped and walked over to the toaster oven and put some hot dogs in, and I called attention to it. So they made. We got to be consistent here.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Well, he knew we could handle it.
That's true.
And these are the cheap, on sale.
Oof.
Careful. Dogs or whatever they are.
Careful. Cheap hot dogs. Get rocks in those. So basically, from there, we're more or less heated in debate.
Which is why your laptop stopped?
Yeah, my laptop
isn't anymore. It got boring.
It got boring. My laptop fell asleep finally.
Yeah.
But basically, I think where we kind of left off is at the ending. Really, it's at the rebels are decimated, but there's hope. They've put out a clarion call for from others to come. What's interesting, I think, is that on the rewatch, I noticed that like about 10 minutes before this last hurrah of running to the planet, somebody says there's about 400 of us left. And then there's another round of fighting. And so the numbers probably get dwindled even more. But it's just to show that I want to point out that how decimated they are.
Yeah.
Right. Like,
how few people are actually on those ships, as big as they are.
Right. It's a lot of room.
Because they started out with like 400 or 500 people left, and like a bunch of ships go down, and
there's like 50 people left.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah,
so,
but they still got like 2 or 3 ships, and there's only 50 people on them.
Well, I mean, there's enough at the end that they can all fit on the Millennium Falcon.
Well, that's true. And but they do kind of leave us in a place where it's about they've put out the call. They're going to hope for some reinforcements of a sort, kind of some other friends to kind of come out of the Outer Rim and help them in the next round of this war.
Yeah, and
Kylo and the kids take off, I guess.
Well, I think it's also I think the big thing here is Luke showing up.
Yeah.
And the combination of Rey moving those rocks at the end.
Right.
Those are going to be the spark of the inspiration to bring the rebellion back in force.
Right. Everyone got to see just how powerful Rey was, so that she'll be able to be like a guiding light for them in a sense where, we do have a pretty powerful Jedi with us.
Well, Luke sacrificing himself so that the rebellion can live on. I mean, that's what he was about.
Yep.
That's what he's always wanted. And, the fact that he dies on the rocks looking at the horizon like he did in New Hope brought, some emotion to me.
Right.
Because I thought it was a fitting death for him.
Right.
You know what I mean? I was not disappointed by that one bit.
Right.
And I thought it was a great send-off to that. I don't think we've seen the last of Luke.
No.
And I don't think that it's going to be chalked up to a cameo like Alec Guinness. I think that he's pretty much going to be a prominent presence in Rey and Kylo's life.
I would like to see, even if he's only Force Ghost, that he's got more going on than just like you said.
Maybe. You see, that might even be a thing.
Yeah, it'd be nice to see him do the Yoda thing with
Rey.
With Rey as a ghost.
It might be gelling from now on.
That's it. He's just always going to look suave now.
Yeah.
He's just going to always have perfect hair.
I have no problems.
Perfect hair, perfect goatee,
Some Clairol,
One of the last two things that we see is that Luke's books, those books that him and Yoda were kind of like dismissing and then thought they were burning, they're actually on the Falcon, that Rey snatched them and put them on there. Turns out there is kind of a quick scene where she's closing that particular drawer, so that on the rewatch you can kind of see that it was her. I thought maybe, because I didn't catch that scene, that Luke had stashed them on there for her. But turns out she did grab them right before she left.
Yeah, that Luke doing it wouldn't make sense because as far as he knows, he's burning down the building.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So books are on the Falcon, and then we get that kid from Canto Bite, whatever it is. The
broom kid.
The broom kid, who... all he really does is pull the broom about an inch off the wall to his hand and tells us that he's force sensitive. He's got some Jedi power in him. And Rose left him the ring, the little secret decoder ring.
Right.
And he tilts up the broom at just the right angle so that like it looks like a sword.
I
kind
love
of a thing.
that.
I love that too.
Loved that. You never saw an ending quite like that.
No, you never got like an ending that kind of like teased into a bigger picture.
Right.
It was always kind of like, here's our characters and we're done. You know what I mean?
I mean, a part of it, I think it kind of has. Well, I know that it has. I know the one meaning it has for this trilogy. Mm-hmm. But does it mean, something for Ryan's next trilogy?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I think this whole trilogy, at this point, we can see that it's been planned to a certain extent.
Right.
And then I was telling Bill, like then they bring the director in and say, okay, these are the points you got to hit in this movie. As long as you hit those points, it's not too far off the ball, you're good to go. Right. So.
Do we think? What do we think? Okay, so Kylo's the big bad now. It's just going to be him and Hux.
And Hux, right? Which is cool because now we don't have this bigger than life.
Yeah, I don't want JJ coming in now and bringing some other guy we don't know from Adam in here.
And I don't think he will.
I don't think so either.
Well, okay, so here
I think it's about dwindling the size of both factions so that eventually it could all just kind of fall away.
So here's the interesting thing about this trilogy.
Levy's got to die at the end of this movie, right?
Yeah.
This isn't gonna be bad, Jay.
I don't know.
So in Force Awakens, J.J. Abrams did what he's famous for. He set up the mystery box.
Right.
All these different things.
Right.
That we didn't know about people's backgrounds and shit like that.
Open questions. Open-ended questions.
In this episode, Rian Johnson spent the whole movie tearing apart the mystery box.
Right.
And telling you that you didn't need to care about these things.
He's definitely addressing them one way or the other. Different points. But different points, different ways, some more than others.
Yeah.
There's definitely some of that
big
on.
moment at the end, Luke just tosses the lightsaber away.
But
we don't need to know where Snoke came from and all that shit about Rey's parentage. Turns out, well, no, she was...
Right. I was trying to be succinct on that, and you then laid it out. Go on.
Which you pointed out were originally initiated by Mr. Dead End, no answers to questions himself, J.J. Abrams. So this could have all just been set up by him anyway.
Well, no,
Rian Johnson is just doing his thing. He's just doing what he's got to do.
Yeah. So J.J. Abrams set up the mystery box.
Yep.
And now Rian Johnson has torn it down.
Right.
And now they're bringing in Abrams to close this out. Right. And Abrams, I've always thought of him with his TV shows and stuff like that. I can't think of a property that he's finished.
Well, I don't think that it's necessarily that big a deal because it's Star Wars.
Oh no! I'm sure he's going to do a fine job.
Right.
I'm
so
not
then what's
saying
the
that.
Question?
No. I'm just saying.
Is it a vote of no confidence?
Not a vote of no confidence. I am intrigued.
To see what he does.
To see how he closes out a saga.
Oh, me too.
I think
not so much him, just in general. I
think saying that Rian Johnson shut down the mystery box is a bold statement. I don't think that he shut it all down. I think he just expanded on it and brought it somewhere else. I don't think it was torn down.
No, but all the big questions that you had that we've been arguing about the last 2 years, I feel like this movie has said, it's all bullshit.
No, I don't think so. I think we still don't have the answer.
It always says that to fans who are obsessed about thinking that they had the answer.
That's what I'm saying.
It says, that's not what you said, though.
Okay.
It says to people that if you had a theory, your theory really kind of doesn't matter because the movies are going to do what they're going to do. And that's always been the case. Well, it's like having theories about fucking anything else, any other franchise.
That's what I mean about the mystery box. The mystery box puts all of these questions out there.
Right, and he addressed them one way or the other.
The whole point in him not answering it in this movie is so that we can argue about it and try to anticipate what the answers are going to be in the next movie.
Right, but those answers all haven't been addressed. There's a lot of different things, and they're probably going to come up again.
Yeah.
So I think it's too fast to say that.
And it's J.J. Abrams, so we're not going to get all those answers. What's more than likely going to happen is we're going to have some things that are going to be left unquestioned, which will then be reposed and re-put in the new trilogy.
And I think, you know what, in the scheme of Star Wars, that's always kind of been a thing. Like, you always kind of come out of these movies where, not everything is kind of crystallized in 100%. It's like, how does the Force work? Some of these grander, bigger questions, you always kind of come out of them with these things. And, my hope is that, regardless of how those things get handled, that's not even my main concern.
Yeah.
For me, it's really about how do you wrap up this series and put a button on it, put a bow on it, and say, hey, this ending feels satisfactory for the whole run. Like, you know what I mean?
The Skywalker family line has to die.
And I think that's, what was kind of like, right, but more than that. Okay, so they die, big deal. It doesn't end the Empire or the First Order or put balance into the universe.
Well, no, at this point, I think that's what this third movie is actually building to, because we only have one more Skywalker left.
Right,
and he's the main bad guy.
And this film
so in order for this Star Wars to have a good ending, the main bad guy's got to die. Right, because we have to end this now. This is the last of the original. I kind of forgot
for a second that he was of the family. I kind of forgot for a second.
No, I'm saying, I think that this movie definitely gears towards it, because we saw Skywalker, pass on into the Jedi afterlife. We saw their supreme leader die.
Right.
You know what I mean? Now, we're also everything we've known about the Force die. Now it's something else. It's bigger. You know what I mean? I think it's gearing toward this huge climax.
Yeah.
And I feel it.
I feel like pieces are in play. Like I feel like pieces are in place. You know what I mean?
I think we're also feeling we're feeling how small everything is getting with this Empire Rebellion fight.
Right, because that's what I'm kind of thinking.
Because now you got 50, 60 people left in the rebellion at the end of this movie, and you don't have the main bad guy anymore, and what you have left is basically a poor replacement for him, because you have somebody who's unproven, generally known as being childish and impulsive, who is now going to be the main bad guy, and I don't think who's left. So this is not an ideal choice.
That's interesting.
You know what I mean? So structurally sound, these things are not at this point.
Yeah.
And both of them are houses of cards, which could conceivably fall apart totally at the end of the next movie.
Yeah.
This is why I'm saying that the Skywalkers have to die.
Yeah.
This is. I'm also saying that because we got George Lucas on record saying there are 9 parts of this story. Yeah. So now we're at the 9th part, and what's left? Well, in order to give it a positive, a period, exclamation point at the end of the sentence on this, the Skywalker's got to die. That's the only thing I keep coming back to.
Yeah. I mean, obviously that'll be the last hurrah of it all. I feel like what's interesting is, the forces are decimated. Like Bob said, it's 50 on one side, and obviously on the, First Order side, they were scraps to begin with. Like, you know what I mean? So now they're even at some even crazy lower.
So. And this all goes to what I was saying about Hux. He's gonna make a play.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll both have different plans for how to rebuild it or something like that. Right, there's got to be some strife in between the two of them. So this is everything's gonna. I get the feeling that everything's gonna fall apart in the last one. Any bold predictions on the way out? Kylo and Ren have a baby. I mean, just anything.
Kylo and Rey, you mean?
Maybe Kylo and Ren.
No, but I do believe that we still have, whatever this new open book of the Force now that we have.
Right. Just shifting.
Just the beginning. That's why I'm not ready to judge what happened in the throne room yet.
Here's the thing. I think there's a wiggle room for something just like that, because Luke didn't read those books, Yoda dismissed them, and Rey's going to read them now. So who's to say that Rey doesn't find some secret of the Source? Maybe. Some kind of higher power or way to tap into the Force on a different level and, I don't know, nuke the whole fucking universe. Maybe she goes supernova. I don't know. But I'm just saying,
Right. Well, we do still have those beliefs in both of them that they can turn each other. So there's going to be that aspect of it.
Yeah, I think that's going to be her main motivation.
I would really love to turn this whole thing on its ear and have her join him at the end of the next movie. Right. And the next movie ends with them decimating everything.
Bob wants chaos. I thought that we could have gotten that heat.
Because at that moment, where can you go? You can do 1,000,001 things. You have a whole new Rebel Alliance that you're building, and you got a whole new sense of what powerful means, and you don't have to do Death Stars anymore.
I will say this: a ballsy move would to have Rey be the one to go to the dark side, and Kylo become good. And
I thought that's kind of like a flip on both of them.
Right.
It would be interesting.
And one of them dying, you know what I mean? And it's not what you think.
That actually...
that would drive everybody
crazy. That actually...
I love it, but that would just drive
because he is a Skywalker.
Right.
That may be what we get.
Right. But you see, I'm not that Star Wars geek. Right. I would accept that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I accepted this movie.
Right. You
know what I mean? For a lot of, you know.
Right. Instead of holding fast to some old hopes or something.
And I truly do believe that it's actually a brilliant episode.
See,
give me a minute before you trash what I just said.
Like, you have no idea if that's what he's going to do.
I heard enough.
He literally said...
let me finish. Let me
I say after this, we get these two Jello wrestling. All right, we would see just to see who's right.
What I'm saying is that I would accept something of that order.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I do think this is one of the more brilliant episodes. It's not like anything you've seen before,
right?
Yet still relates to the story and opens up, different. That's my dark side.
Was that what? Okay, exactly all right.
It definitely opens up.
Force Ghost in the room.
More elements to explore.
Yes, and I really feel like it broadens. I wonder if we'll have time to get as deep as I want to get on that stuff, though, in the next one. Like,
but I do think that some of it will be explored.
Yeah. I'd be surprised because I feel like we've reduced the everything down so much that it doesn't leave him a lot to play with, really, in the next one. So you kind of need some exploration of something else. So why not have it be the Force, you know?
Yeah, so what I want to see is come down to a fight between Kylo and Rey, where it gets so heated that they toss aside the lightsabers and they're about to wrestle. and they get into that lock where they're holding each other's shoulders.
And then it turns into a slap fight.
Things get so heated, and then Kelsey Grammer pops his head and goes,
"This is why I cut him off.
Are you as turned on as I am right now?
Right,
you motherfucker! That was a good joke.
That's how it goes here, Ed. You can't have jokes here because everybody steps on your line. It happens to me every week since the day I started the show. And because people don't care. You know, they don't care. So with that...
Can I just give one quick shout-out to Sarah Netzley, my co-host on the DC TV Report, who stands with me. Of course she does. And told me that her husband actually walked out during the casino scene because the urchins bothered him that much.
Wow, that's a lot. As I always say, if you walk out of a movie, don't go see movies then.
He doesn't want to play BB-8 slots?
That's how I feel about it.
I think that's a little extreme.
No. If you're going to walk out a movie before it's over...
Oh, he came back.
Oh, he went to go use the bathroom.
No. It was like...
frustration?
Yeah.
Then he's too hardcore. He needs to dial it back.
I agree.
Unless you're leaving a movie to go use the bathroom or you just really want to get some more popcorn, that's just... You got to dial it back. At least give the thing a chance to breathe.
By the way, for anyone who hasn't seen the movie, this is a bottle on the leg kind of movie.
Oh, yeah. 2.5 hours.
2.5, 2:45.
I didn't feel it.
Yeah.
Oh, it got to me, boy.
It got to his bladder.
Yeah. I got up. It was painful.
I only really started to feel like the time, like near the end, and that's fine. That's the only place you should really start feeling it anyway. I got lucky. The second time I saw it, my bladder failed me, and I was holding it until it was painful, and then had trouble with the release when I finally got to it.
And I was nursing my soda and everything, the whole movie.
What was that, Jay?
You went the second time.
Yeah, well, I had to make sure. Yeah. I had to make sure that my first impressions.
To be fair, I saw this a second time too on Saturday because I was so doubtful in my thoughts
and your initial
and my guts, walking through those first hour and a half, going, it can't be this bad.
The guy must be wrong.
Well,
it can't be. I actually went against my own judgment and paid money. I didn't take the movie pass because I used the movie pass on Thursday. I paid my own money for you, Jay, to give you a fair shake. And
you gave the movie.
What do you want from me?
You gave the movie a fair shake.
You displayed on this show on your points on why you didn't like it. I'm actually don't know if I can respect anything that comes out of your mouth about movies again. Wow. I'm telling you, I really am so disappointed in your points that you were trying to make here.
Just narratively, a lot of it is fat. A lot of it didn't make sense to me. A lot of it just seems like it hung on the vine. If this had just been a Rey and Luke story, I think and maybe a little bit of Poe in there, it would have been a lot tighter. It just felt like it was fat, and it was about 5% too hokey throughout, and it just bothered me.
Yeah, what you said just bothers me.
And I cannot, in good conscience, recommend that people pay money to see it in a theater.
That's fine, but the fact is, the people that believe your reviews and shit like that, I feel bad for them because they're going to miss out on a good fucking Star Wars movie, and that's what I have to say about that. Very, very high stash.
He'll buy 2, I think, before it's all said and done.
Bob, you want to give it a rating?
This I think is a stash. I think it's. I think everyone's got to remember it's a summer movie. It's a Star Wars movie. Yeah. This is not highbrow sci-fi. This is the classic original sci-fi story. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's an action adventure. So it's popcorny.
So you can't get overly wrapped up in all the details, and everyone's got to remember that these characters aren't yours. You can't get too wrapped up in them because your awesome ideas may not make great movie ideas. You know what I mean? I'm gonna see this movie again eventually.
Yeah,
and I don't do that often for movies.
And that's how I felt too. Like I don't really usually go back. And I kind of went back, much like Ed is kind of saying, to kind of like revalidate like the opinions I had coming out of it the first time. It's like, will the same things that kind of didn't sit right still not sit right? And I found that a lot of the things that bothered me initially didn't bother me as much the second time. And things that I liked a little more. I wouldn't say like I fell like harder in love with it, but I will say that I realized for myself that the more I do see a movie, the more I do like a movie, and the more that I do, and that's my own bias, that's my own weakness in a way, where it's like, I do feel like the more I see a movie, the more I start to accept and kind of give it a benefit of a doubt on things after a while. And it's like, sure, it's like, that guy could never have done that in real life, and the movie's supposed to be grounded, so therefore X, Y, Z. But after seeing it 20 times, it's like, yes, I guess that is a great thing.
Yeah, but when you say you give it this benefit of the doubt, that you're not. It's not like you're giving a benefit of the doubt the way you're giving a benefit of the doubt to say part 1, 2, and 3.
No, yeah, well, that's
those which are known as being the weakest 3 in the series.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just to qualify what you're saying.
No, yeah. I think you're right. I just worry sometimes that seeing a movie, for me anyway, it softens it up to the point where it's like, I stop seeing the things that used to bother me about it. I don't know if that's true for other people or not. It's just something I kind of wonder about my own exposure on a movie. But I think that's it. Yeah. To a degree, I think we had a great discussion.
Yeah, no, I
had a lot of fun. Oh, me? Oh, I'm stash on it. Yeah. I feel like it's one of those things that, despite its missteps that I chalk up to it, it's not a thing where like wholly outright I could say like, oh, don't go see it because I know people are just going to see it anyway. And I really feel like it's a thing where people need to see it and make up their own mind for sure, because there's going to be a lot of kind of like mixed signals coming out of everybody, your friends, family, like, there's a lot of stuff in here that even like just kind of like I think goes over most people's heads in general in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and a lot of stuff now is also like meant for a international audience. So sometimes points of humor may not hit as well simply because they might not be geared towards that country's sense of humor.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know what I mean?
I need a fucking cigarette.
But yeah, I had something else, but I forgot it now. Okay,
sorry,
so that's it.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. It's not your fault. So
how about I ask you the guys this one real quick? The last movie of this movie, which one you like better? Because like in my mind, like the last one was a cash for me. This one's a stash.
It's fair. Well,
I know you're stash,
yeah,
right, Jay?
Stash, but I do feel that this one had a lot more inventiveness. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I think there's things in here I've never seen before.
Right. You
know what I mean?
So this one's a little bit above the other one.
Because I enjoyed what I saw.
Right.
I accepted what happened. That's
well, in comparison to the other one, you didn't walk out scratching your head as much, I guess, is what you said.
No.
Because Bob's question is about comparison.
The comparison, I think that this one's a little, because it's a little edgier.
Right. A little darker. I like that aspect. A little darker.
Very thought-provoking, very, I guess, what did I say, existential yesterday?
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit with the Force, and I enjoyed that. But I also loved Force Awakens for what it was as well.
But this one was better.
I feel Last Jedi might be a better film.
Yeah. I kind of agree with that because I feel like there's a certain amount of like, the first one's a little bit sugary, kind of very friendly, easy access thing, and so this one now is a little, like you said, it's a little darker, a little more edge. But I do feel like this one is kind of by design got some angles in it that are like intended to kind of ask more questions, and if maybe not designed to be diversive, but if going in knowing that if it ends up being diversive, that's fine. They know it's going to be diversive anyway, because it's just Star Wars. Like, you know what I mean? So I think they kind of went into this one just saying, like, okay, that's the burden on our back. We'll run with it. We'll roll with it sometimes and not really care, like with Snoke, if that pisses off people. Right. We're just going to do it.
It didn't bother me.
No, yeah. But I may look at you, but I'm not. I don't
that
mean
may be
you.
the whole reason that we didn't get a whole lot of backstory with him in the first place.
But yeah. But as I'm saying, like, I feel like that's like the game plan in here for them, and I kind of appreciate that because it's ballsy.
Right.
And I think that's what other people have to kind of see a little bit, is that, like, there's an intentional divisiveness at play, for lack of a better term. Like, you know, they know that this is going to piss people off, and they're kind of saying "fuck it," and at times leaning into it a little bit, which I like. It's like a little bit more of an attitude.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's a simple scare, whereas Force Awakens hit all its marks.
Yeah,
and to me, Last Jedi didn't.
All right.
You know, that's very cut and dry for me.
Yeah, that's wrong, fine. Right? I don't know. No one told you were wrong after you said your final piece, though, right?
I'm kidding. Jesus Christ.
Well, I don't know, because you gave him a hard time every time you had an opinion. I don't know at this point.
And no one said anything to anybody else's like that, so it can come off that way.
Trying to give him everybody their last moment without getting shit on.
Fine.
Yeah. Please let us know what you think on social media.
No, don't.
No.
Well, not about, like, Star Wars. You can let us know what you thought about this episode.
Yeah.
But you can reach us on the internet. Let's wrap it up. Ed, where can people find you?
I'm on Twitter at Edward O'Hare TBD.
How about you, Jay?
I'm at Man of Steel Books.
At Man of Steel Books on Twitter. Bob?
At Bob WTPC.
He's at Bob WTPC, folks. And then me, I'm at Wicked Theory. The show is our Wicked Theory podcast. You can find it wherever, however. Just figure it out. I'll take us out with some more Droid, because I figured that this was probably the least likely thing to get us hit with a, strike down notice for using Star Wars music. And that's really why I picked it. I was like, yeah, it's a goof.
I remember that show.
Well, we'll see, won't we?
Trouble again.
We'll see about that in strike notice.
Only one way to find out, folks. All right, so find us on your podcast player of choice at as Wicked Theory podcast. Yeah, Wicked Theory podcast.
Yep.
And check back with us soon. We're live every Saturday. Find us on Mixler.com. I guess.
Yep.
That's it. All right. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye-bye.